こんにちは、皆さん。今日、私たちは日本語を勉強しています。質問があれば、私に聞いてください。Greetings, everyone. Today we're studying Japanese. If you have any questions, then feel free to stop and ask me at any time. We're going to continue with Immersion with Card Captor Sakura. Remember that no kashite was to miss, but was that transitive or intransitive? No kashite from no kasu. Oh, no gashite, yeah. No gashite, no gasu. No gasu. Transitive, okay. That makes sense because it's being used with chansu. It would be transitive. So in other words, I'm not able to say, but I want to say. I keep missing my chance with bakare meaning just, but it means it in the exaggeration sense. Let's see, Tsubasa is wing. Let's see. Hito get, which means this is from Hito gu. Hito get. Oh no, it's from Hito. That's right, it's Ichidan, so this is from Hito geru, okay. So to spread, transitive. So in other words, that said, spread wings together. With it ended in dead, I believe, because we're talking about the method. In this case, spreading wings together being the method. Futari's two people. After all, the two of us with our wings spread wide. Okay, interesting. Oh, we had day. What about day? Let's see, come on, let's spread our wings together. As you can see, particles are very important. It tells how to treat different parts of the sentence. Sakura to Okasan no Omoide, or Sakura and mother's memories.
So の日はすっかり遅くなっちゃったから近道をその日は
Let's see, Sonohiwa, so that day, Scotty, something,
すっかり遅くなっちゃった
Soku na chata kara, Soku na chata, that would be from So, Yeah, so her name, Naoko, okay. Scotty, all completely, totally, entirely, thoroughly. Osoku, late. Oh, this is from Osoi, slow. Yeah, okay, so Osoi is slow, but it can have the implications of late, because if you're slow, you're late. So, depending on context, it can either mean slow or late. So, Osoi, or in the adverb from Osoku. Now, this is Osoku. Let's see, Osoku Nachata. This is probably from Shimata, but it's been replaced with the Chata replacement. Yeah, because Shimao and Chao can be replaced. But this will take off the te in front of it, so this is probably not te. The te has been taken off by the substitution, so it's nachata. So this statement was probably originally natte shimata. So in other words, ended up becoming. So let's see. So that day, Scotty. So completely became slow, became late. And then this is in the past tense, so that day. So in other words, that day they were completely late. So I guess it's supposed to mean very late. So that day they were very late. And from that, because it's kata after this, so Sonahiwa. Wait, did she say he or Nichi?
その日は
Yeah, he, okay. So, Sonahiwa, Scotty. Let's see. Scotty Osoku. Okay. Sonahiwa, Scotty Osoku Nachatta kara. So, that day, very late, but they don't really specify who's late. It's not that I can tell. Oh, okay, so not talking about person. They're talking about the day itself. Yeah, that makes sense because of the particles. Yeah, as for the day, it got very late. in other words, as it became past tense completely late. Or since it's an adverb, you could think of it as completely lately. Or in other words, it became very late in that day. So, その日は疲れ遅くなっちゃったから。
その日はすっかり遅くなっちゃったから近道をしようと思って学校の裏の森を通ったの。
こんにちは、元気ですか？If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I feel like I should know that first word. Let's listen to it again.
その日はすっかり遅くなっちゃったから近道をしようと思って。
Cameo. Okay. しようと思って学校の
裏の森を通った。
something の森を Let's see. So, chikamichi. Oh, that's the kanji for long, isn't it? And then that's second one's the kanji for path. Oh no, it's not long. It's okay. I was thinking the other kanji. It's short, and then path, shorter way or shortcut. Suited verb, intransitive. That's right. This is from Chikai, if I remember correctly. This first kanji. Yes, Chikai, and the second kanji is from Michi. Okay. So, Chikamichi o and shoto omote. So, thought of trying the shorter path. Gakko no ura, opposite side or rear or back side. So school's opposite or rear, okay. Forest. So the forest on the opposite or back side of the school. Or totash from toru, to go by, to go past, to go along, to travel along. Intransitive. So in other words, traveling along the forest behind the school or to the side of the school, across from the school. So chikamichi o shou to omotte gakko no ura no mori o tota from toru. Oh yeah, toru as in what's commonly used in roads. That's right. Yeah, tori. That's what it was. When the word for road is tori, unless it's after another noun in which the Dakuten rule takes over and becomes dori. So, but the verb it's based off of is toru, or to go by or to go past. So, chikamichi o shou to omotte gakko no ura no mori o tota no. So in other words, let's see. I guess since they don't specify the noun, I guess it's, I thought I should, try the shortcut, uh, of the forest, uh, of the forest that's, behind the school. I thought I should travel the shortcut of the forest behind the school. That's what the translator says about it. Let's see. It got really late in the day, so I decided to take a shortcut and went through the woods behind the school. That actually sounds a lot better translated. Chikamichi o sho to omotte. So thought I should take a shortcut, and then gakko no ura no mori o totta no. So thought I should take a shortcut of the woods, and go past the woods behind this, and go through the woods behind the school. Okay.
すっかり遅くなっちゃったから近道をしようと思って学校の裏の森を通ったの。
Mono Oto, or some sound not identified. And then that's her name, Naoko, and then her saying ah, because she heard a sound. すっかり遅くなっちゃったから近道をしようと思って学校の裏の森を通ったの。 Karasu no something goe. That animal sound word we've seen used before. Nagi goe, animal sound. And this is from Naku, to call out. And yeah. And then Karasu, or crow. Yeah, to make a sound of an animal. Okay. That's weird. Did I click on something? One moment. There we go. I think I fixed the dictionary. So, Nagu. Yes, Nagu, okay. So, Karasu no Nagi Goe. Because of the Daku 10 word, Koe becomes Goe. 近道をしようと思って学校の裏の森を通ったの。It sort of looks like the kanji for mushi. Keiko, fluorescence. That's not what she said, though. She only said one kanji in there. Hotaru B. Let's see, glow of a firefly. Oh, so that's the... Okay, I see why it looks like the kanji for insects. It's the kanji used in fireflies. Let's see. Mushi. Yeah, that's the kanji used for insect. And that's the one they're saying is used for firefly. You can see how similar they are. In fact, it's just this one underneath that little hat thing. Let's see what she actually says. It sounds like she's saying Hotaro. Hotaro. Hotaru. That would be from Hotaru. Or, Noun. Firefly. Okay, so that's what they're called. These lightning bugs are called. They're called Hotaru. Or in other words, as you've seen a surprise scream. Let's see, that says Naoko and Chiharu. Saying from the how loud that scream was. Gomen Nahyai. In other words, I think it's supposed to be a very muffled version of Gomen Nasai, but something's over her mouth, so she can't say it clearly. Nahyai. See, Naoko-chan, そんな話本当なの? Now, if you remember, Honto, I believe, is a yes, it's a keiyo doshi, or also known as na adjective, and that's the reason why it has a na after that. Because in casual speak, if you're not gonna end with a if you're gonna, I remember something about you can't just end with a no. If you have a keiyo doshi, it has to have a na in front of it as well. Because the na takes place of the da. Let's see. continuing sentence with a Kyoshi and no na after it. See, that is a sentence ending particle. Japanese use them a lot. That mostly adds emotional nuance to a sentence. Na, in this case, softens the sentence a bit, making it as your opinion. It's very common. I suggest you. Okay. It's just. What about when there is a Heiyodoshi followed by Nano? Explanatory no, yes. When the subject is a not adjective or a noun, the na is required before the no. For example, Shizuka no, it is quiet. Compared to an I adjective, Shizukai no. Wait, that's a Shizukai? Shizukai. Oh, did they just make that word up? Okay. Shizumaru, to become quiet. Anyway, so for I adjectives, you can just end with no. Casual des. Nano is often used in casual speech as a replacement for des when ending a sentence with a not adjective. So you have to have not before the no when you're ending with a ko, dochi, or now. And you're not using. And you're not using something like des or da. Can you say Bizu kano desu? Yes, you can say Shizuka no desu. in Shizuka Nano is the not a different version of da. No, na in Shizuka Nano is not a different version of da. It is the attributive form of the copula, which is what da is. Wow. Some of these AI answers. So yes, na is a different form of da. Okay. Hey. Okay. So da and des are called the predicative copula, while na is called the attributive copula. Interesting. What is the predicative of copula? Is a verb that links a subject to a predicate, such as an adjective, noun phrase, or a prepositional phrase to attribute property, state, identity, or class to that subject. In linguistics, this construction is often referred to as copular sentence, where the copula itself does not express a dynamic action, but rather establishes a relationship between the subject and its complement. Okay. And what is the and how does this differ from the attributive copula? But the attributive copula is a grammatical form used to modify a following noun, effectively function like an adjective in English. The is pretty moon becomes the pretty moon. Its primary role is to link a subject to an attribute within a relative or adjectival clause rather than in an independent sentence. In English, the function is often handled by the lack of a copula or by using adjectives directly before nouns. The green book, the book is green. The predictive copula, da, is used at the end of the not predictive, but predicative is used at the end of the sentence. The moon is pretty. The attributive copula na or no is used before noun. The pretty moon uses na. Therefore, the normal cat uses no. Okay. Naoko-chan, その話す本当なの? So Naoko-chan, is that really true? Yes. Though while it's in English would translate to really true, in Japanese what she's literally saying, Naoko-chan is that story true? Or yeah, I guess in this case you would also translate it to is that true in English as well. Let's see.
ごめんややい。なおこちゃん、その話本当なの？うん。何かを見間違えちゃったってことは？なおこちゃん、その話本当なの？うん。
何か something or see mimachi. See, normally the word would be machigau. Maybe this is a different word.
見間違えちゃった。
Yeah, mimachi. Let's see, mimachi. 見間違う、見間違え、ちゃったってことは So let's see. 違う is to differ or to be to differ, to be wrong, and then, or is it, I think machiga, no, I think chigao's to differ, but machigao, that's, if I remember correctly, that's a moment in time, and that has to deal with, at that moment at the time, did you differ, so I think machigao was wrong, if I remember correctly, and then mi machigao, I think that is not so much to be wrong, but did you see wrong? And now this is conjugated into first eru. So it's the possibility. So mimachi gae eru, or the possibility of seeing wrong. And then it was conjugated to a connective form, mimachi gau ete. And then followed by the shimata, which gets the chata replacement to it. So did you end up seeing wrong, because this is in past tense? And then I believe this is just it being quoted to, let's see, I believe that's being quoted, so it's either, let's see, it's either being quoted or could mean to say or to do. So in other words, could you have done seen it wrong? Could you have done ended up seeing it wrong? And what are we talking about? Something. So could you have done seen it wrong to something? And is that whole concept a thing? So is that a thing? Is it a thing that you could have seen it wrong? So could you have seen it wrong? Let's see if I guessed correctly from what I studied. So yeah, something mimachigaechatta. Wait. Machigaeru, to change, to alter, to run counter, to go against a break. To make a mistake. Wait, there's a... And this is Ichidan. Could it be that I misread something? No, I don't think that's what that's trying to say. Explain the grammar of that whole phrase. Machigaeru, to make a mistake, to commit an error. Isn't this from Machigaru? Oh, that's right. Machigaru is spelled like this. Machigaru. To be mistaken, to be incorrect. to differ. Yeah, so machigau. So interval of time you differ is how they say mistake essentially. So machigau. Now, is this considered a separate word or is it just a conjugation? So nanika mi machigae chatta. This is the core action clause. So nanika something is the object marked wo, and then mi machigaeru to mistake. Okay, it's the verb. The ending chatta is the colloquial contraction of te shimata, which indicates an action was completed, often with the nuance of regret or that it happened accidentally. Ended up mistaking. The sute, this functions as a casual quotation mark equivalent to to or toyu. The fact that, okay, to say, okay, so that would be like to say with, or the fact that. It quotes the preceding clause as a concept or fact. Okay, koto wa. This normalizes the quoted fact. Koto turns the statement into a noun phrase. The fact that, and then wa. Okay, and then it's obvious the rest would have been something like iru or aru or something like that. So in other words, do you think that was mistake exists essentially, but so you don't really have to say it? In summary, the structure means as for the fact that that you messed up or mistook something. Is the chigao. Okay, let's see. Is this from Machigao or Machigaeru? Let's see. Is the base word from Machigao or Machigaeru? Is this just the potential form? The base word machigaeru is not machigao. The phrase machigaeru chatta is not the potential form. It is the past tense of the casual contraction tense. Yes, we know it's also past, but the machigaeru is transitive verb meaning to make a mistake or to mistake. It takes the direct object. Machigao is originally intransitive, meaning to be wrong, to differ. The modern usage sometimes allows it to be transitive. However, when combining with another verb like miru to look, the transitive machigaeru is the standard choice. Okay, so they said this is transitive, and they said this one is intransitive. Okay, so this is indeed the root word. So there's no potential form involved in this statement at all. So this is machigaeru. So nanika o uh uh yeah, why don't I recognize this? That's me machi gaeru, to misperceive visually as I thought, to misread, to mistake for something or someone else. Nanika o mi machi gae chatate koto wa. And okay, and as they were saying, this sute at the end is a short for toyu to. So to say that blah 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 is a thing. So okay, so nanika o michigae chate koto wa, or with less contractions in it, would be nanika o michigae gaete shimatte toyu to koto wa.
なおこちゃん、その話本当なの？うん。何かを見間違えちゃったってことは？
Now notice she says and in other words she extended from with one to multiple u's, because that's how you say no, essentially using the and. The long one is no and the short one is yes.
その話本当なの？何かを見間違えちゃったってことは？その話もうやめようよ。
So let's see. その話もやめようよ. So that story should stop already. In other words, I wish that story would stop. Yeah, yameru is in the suggestive tense of yameyo. Let's drop this topic. So, sono hanashi mo yameyo yo.
何かを見間違えちゃったってことは？その話もうやめようよ。怖い話ダメなんだよ。その話もうやめようよ。怖い。
So yeah, kawaii hanashi dame nanda yo. So the scary story is bad. Or the scary story should stop. Actually, I wonder which would be applied in this case. See, I can't handle scary stories. Interesting, that's how that translated. Kawaii hanashi dame nanda. Explain the grammar of... Okay. Let's see, dame, no good, forbidden, not allowed. Nanda, contraction of... No, okay. Okay, this translator translates as scary stories are no good, which I guess has the implication of I can't handle scary stories. Let's see. How does this translate to I can't handle scary stories? Let's see. Let's see the phrase Koi hanashi dame nanyo translates directly to I can't handle scary stories or scary stories are bad for me based on the components, okay? No good, forbidden, nanda, a sentence and instruction emphasizing the speaker. Nanda, okay. A sentence and instruction that emphasizes the speaker's personal feelings, limitations, or explanation often translates I can't, or it's just that. Okay, so I see. So the fact that she used it as the informational no on it, or the informational nah, gave it more of the nuance that she was saying what her limits are, because she was basically saying it in an explanation way. So, 怖い話ダメなんだよ。
を見間違えちゃったってことは？うん、その話もうやめようよ。怖い話ダメなんだよ。ねえねえ、その話が本当かどうか確かめてみない？ねえねえ。
ねえねえ or hey, その話が本当か so that story, is that story true? Uh, then doka, which is how or what, or not, and then there's a ka on it, so it's like or what essentially. So in English, it would be translated as is that story true or something? Yeah, do is sort of like what way. So is that story true or some other way, aka or something as you'd say in English? Uh, Dareka, I think that's Dareka, or maybe not. Something kamete mitai.
ちゃったってことは？うん、その話もうやめようよ。怖い話ダメなんだよ。ねえねえ、その話が本当かどうか確かめてみない？
Tashka, Tashka, that's what that was. Tashka, see, Tashka mete mitai. Okay. Tashkameru. I believe Tashka by itself makes Tashka. Yeah, that's a Keio Doshi or non-adjective means certain, sure, or when used as a fukushi or adverb if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. see, non-adjective, reliable, trustworthy, safe, sound, accurate. Hence, has a sure meaning to it, so hence when the one that's used as another word, tasakameru, to make sure, transitive. So, and then we have the minai, which I believe is the try midu, not the see midu. And then it's conjugated into the negative, as a lot of questions often are in Japanese. So in other words, this is saying something like, "Hey, uh, is that story true? Is that story true or something? Uh, would you not want to would you not want to try to see? Or in other words, do you want to try to see if the story is true or not?" Let's see. Hey, don't you want to find out if the story is true? Or, ねえねえ、その話が本当かどうか確かめてみない？
何かを見間違えちゃったってことは？その話もうやめようよ。怖い話ダメなんだよ。ねえねえ、その話が本当かどうか確かめてみない？今日はクラブも早く終わるし、てみない？今日は
ほら、クラブも、let's see. 早く、yeah, 早く、終わるし。So I believe this hayaku comes from hayai, which is, and with the kanji used, I believe it's the early kanji, not the quick kanji. So this is meant to be more like in an early way, or in other words, with earliness. So it's ending with earliness, or in other words, it's ending early. So owaru, ending, and this she is the how you that she for doing reasoning, like reason she outcome, or you could have any kind of however many things you want followed by she ending with an outcome. You don't necessarily have to say every single part, but it does give the nuance that you're saying a reason for something. So 今日はクラブも早く終わるし。So today, the clubs are also ending early. Let's see, I wonder what the club's also ending early, or something like that. See, club ends early today anyway. So 今日はクラブも早く終わるし。
ねえねえ、その話が本当かどうか確かめてみない？今日はクラブも早く終わるし、リカちゃんも誘ってみんなで行ってみようよ。今日はクラブも早く終わるし、リカちゃん
リ Rika-chan. Let's see, Rika-chan.
も誘ってみ今日はクラブも早く終わるし、リカちゃんも誘ってみんなで行ってみ。
Yeah, Mina de Itemio. So, Mina, this is everyone. Then de, so that's the particle. So the method is everyone. So in other words, everyone is what? Everyone is ite or going from iku. And then it's mio in the suggestive tense, so she's suggesting this, and this is from the miru as in to try, not to see. So everyone can try to go, and she's suggesting that. Yeah, whenever you use the try version of miru, you never write it with its kanji. You always write it with the hiragana. Sasote from saso, to invite. Transitive. So Rike-chan mo sasote. So also invite Rika-chan. Mina de. Wait, why did they translate it to that? Let's see what she says. Oku nate.
今日はクラブも早く終わるし、リカちゃんも誘ってみんなで行ってみようよ。今日はクラブも早く終わるし、リカちゃんも誘ってみんなで行ってみようよ。クラブも早く終わるし、リカちゃんも誘ってみんなで行ってみようよ。
Yeah, she's saying ite, so this is just translated wrong. There is another kanji that uses this same kanji used in iku. So I think it's okonau. I haven't okonau. And that means to perform, but that's not what's being used here. To conduct oneself, to carry out. Club ends early today, so let's invite Rika and go check it out. So yeah, here you can actually see she being used, in which the full before and after statements get used without anything being dropped. She's saying, since the club's ending early today, then let's invite Rika and check it out. And let's check it out together. Yeah. Rika-chan mo sasotte mina de ite miyo yo.
誘ってみんなで行ってみようよ。終わるし。
Let's see, Rika's name, Chan's name comes from, let's see, profit, advantage, benefit, excellent, beautiful, good, pleasing, skilled. Rika.
リカちゃんも誘ってみんなで行ってみよう。
Yeah, sasote from saso. Okay.
ってみない？今日はクラブも早く終わるし、リカちゃんも誘ってみんなで行ってみようよ。
Let's see. Ano. So in other words, like basically, or and then nani what?
何？ほら。 みようよ。何？ほら、あそこの森、奥が危ないよ。そばに行かなきゃ私が本当かどうか確かめてみない？今日はクラブも早く終わるし、リカちゃんも誘ってみんなで行ってみようよ。何？ほら、あそこ。
Hora or well, Asoko no Mori, that forest. Let's see. But Asoko is usually used for place, so that forest place. Let's see.
この森、奥が崖み。あそこの森、奥が崖みたいになって。クラブも早く終わるし、リカちゃんも誘ってみんなで行ってみようよ。何？ほら、あそこの森、奥が崖みたいになってるじゃない。危ないよ。何？
Asoko no Mori. I wonder if that has any implications using that word for it. Asoko no Mori, that forest. Let's see. Okusan ga something mitai ni natteru janai. Abunai, dangerous. So, I think something her mother told her about that forest, about being dangerous, something about that. Let's see. Gake, cliff, precipice. Oh, no, she's not saying. Let's listen to that again.
クラブも早く終わるし、リカちゃんも誘ってみんなで行ってみようよ。何？ほら、あそこの森、奥が崖みたいになってみんなで行ってみようよ。何？ほら、あそこの森、奥が崖み。今日はクラブも早く終わるし、リカちゃんも誘ってみんなで行ってみようよ。何？ほら、あそこの森、奥が崖みたいに。
Okay, I think I misheard it. She's not saying Okusan, she's saying Oku. As you see in this translation here. So Oku, so inner part. So Okuga, as for the inner part, Gake mitai, so another a cliff-like. Cliff. So, and then Nateru, so that's Naru becoming. So it is so in the process of becoming, and then Janai. So the inner part is in the process of becoming cliff-like. So and then this is asking in the negative. So Janai. So is the inner part not like it's becoming cliff-like? It's dangerous. So in other words, in English, you'd say there's cliff-like edges in the inner part. It's dangerous. Let's see, Gake. Let's see, you know the forest has a cliff at the back? It's dangerous. Back? Why back? I thought Oku was inner part, interior. Recess of one's mind, bottom of one's heart. So, あそこの森は、森、あ、奥が、崖、みたいになってるじゃない。危ないよ。奥が崖し、奥が崖みたいになってるじゃない。危ないよ。Explain the grammar of this. 崖 like similar to the ni natteru has become or is contraction of natteru indicating a state resulting in it. Okay, so it is a cliff like janai, isn't it? Or negative copula. Used at the end of a statement to seek agreement or confirmation, often implying you know this, right? So abunayo, dangerous. Let's see, the back of the forest is a cliff, isn't it? It's dangerous. Literal translation. Okay, natural translation. The back of the forest drops off like a cliff, you know. It's dangerous. See, the speaker is pointing out a hazard. Gakemitai looks like a cliff, and using janai to assume the listener might already know, or to stress the obvious, followed by a direct warning, abunayo, to exercise caution. This structure is common in Japanese for giving advice or warning by describing the situation. The oku see, oku ga gake mitai ni natteru janai, abunai yo.
あそこの森、奥が崖みたいになってるじゃない。危ないよ。そばに行かなきゃ大丈夫よ。奥が崖みたいになってるじゃない。危ないよ。そばに。
soba ni soba ni ikanakia daijobu yo, so soba next to, and then ikanakia. Now this comes from this comes from this is a shorthand version of ikanakereba ikemasen. In other words, so you have, so in other words, if you don't go with us, it's not possible. In other words, you have to go with us. So in other words, you have to go with us. It'll be alright, or you'll be safe, or daijobu yo. A place nearby. I thought they were referring to themselves when they said soba. As soon as right after. See, this translator's translating it. It's fine as long as you don't go near it. I get rid of the preceding sentence, though. It'll be fine as long as you don't go over there. So why is soba meaning that? Isn't... Soba, nearby vicinity. See, ikanakya. Isn't ikanakya from ikanakereba ikemasen? See, ikanakya is a casual contraction of ikanakereba narimasen or let's see, ikenai, okay, which means must go, have to go, breakdown, okay. Ikanakya, this is the contraction of, okay, that, yeah. Of ikanakereba ikemasen, okay, standard form, okay. Let's see, nakereba, negative conditional. Naranai must, okay. See, in speech, naranai is often omitted when context is clear, just leaving it ikanakya. So daijobu, okay, fine. Let's see. The literal translation is, it's okay if you go near me. Because ikanakereba implies obligation, must go. The sentence is an idiomatic expression meaning you need to come closer to me to be okay, safe, comfortable. It is often used in contexts where physical proximity is required for safety, comfort, or comfort. Okay, so that was a bad translation. So in other words, as long as you stay near us, it'll be all right. So soba ni 行かなきゃ大丈夫よ。
ほら、あそこの森、奥が崖みたいになってるじゃない。危ないよ。そばに行かなきゃ大丈夫よ。でも、もし本当にお化けが出たら、そばに行かなきゃ大丈夫よ。でも、
Let's see. もし本当に
もし本当にお化けが出たら、
Yeah, I thought I recognized that kanji. お化け。
でも、もし本当に
本当にお化けがだったら So if or when a ghost comes out. Yeah, a ghost exiting is basically how you say a ghost appears or comes out. A ghost appearing in Japanese. Because they're basically exiting to the point where you could see them. Moshi. If, in case, supposing. Then, honto. Oh, this is a shortening of honto. Yeah, she just dropped the U in her pronunciation of it. Let's see. Is honto the word honto? Yes, honto is a colloquial informal pronunciation and spelling of honto. Honto is a short and casual version used primarily in spoken Japanese and informal digital communication text chats. While honto is grammatically standard written, honto is widely accepted in casual contexts and can even be written in hiragana katakana to emphasize informality. Demo, so moshi honto obake ga dot oh, this is from Deru, yeah. So detara, yeah, detara. So, but if a ghost, but when a ghost truly comes out, or if a ghost truly comes out, see, but what if a ghost really does appear? In other words, so if a ghost really does appear, Ghost Operation Obake. So the demo moshi honto ni obake ga dattara.
あそこの森、奥が崖みたいになってるじゃない。危ないよ。そばに行かなきゃ大丈夫よ。でも、もし本当にお化けが出たら、すぐに逃げちゃえば大丈夫よ。でも、もし本当にお化けが出たら、すぐに逃げちゃえば大丈夫よ。もし本当にお化けが出たら、すぐ
すぐに逃げちゃえ、ちゃえば大丈夫よ。す、すぐ See, that have to do with quick or next. Let's see. So, nigeru is, in this case, conjugated to nigete. And then they have the uh, shima, shimao to te chao. I mean, te shimao to chao conjugation on that. And then they converted, they further modified it with from chao to the conditional eba, so chaeba. So which basically translates to if we have to end up running and then and then daijobuyo, it'll be all right. So what is this sugu at the beginning? Immediately. So fukushi adverb. Okay, right away, at once. So if we have to run away, if we end up having to run away at once, it'll be all right. Oh, okay, no, it says, the translation says, you'll be fine as long as you run away right away. Oh, I see, that's right. Okay, so, nigeru, yeah, nigeru is to run, so then, nigete shimau is to end up running. So, let's see, nigete shimaeba with, so, sugu ni, nigete shimaeba, in other words, if you end up running right away or at once. So in other words, if you end up running away right at once, you'll be all right. So only if you run away right at once, you'll be okay. In other words, as long as you end up running away at once, you'll be okay. So sugu ni nigechaeba daijoubu yo. Sugu, immediately, right away. Sugu ni nigechaeba daijoubu yo. If I remember correctly, iku's ikeba in that conditional eba. Ikeba. Conditional tadai. Ikatara, yeah, that's expected. Ikanakat. Ikanakat tada, okay. Yeah, ikeba and then ikanakereba. So ikanai and then yeah, kereba. So sugu ni 逃げちゃえば、OK、すぐに逃げちゃえば大丈夫よ。
でも、もし本当にお化けが出たらすぐに逃げちゃえば大丈夫や。だけど出たらすぐに逃げちゃえば大丈夫や。
So da as in like that said. Oh, actually no, in this case I think it's she's trying to say dake do, but she just says da and then doesn't finish it and then finally finishes dake do.
だけど出たらすぐに逃げちゃえば大丈夫や。け
Okay, and then dake do. So da it does actually mean, so yeah, she is saying dake do. So this is from the da particle, which used in the front of a sentence usually means like that said, or to be being that it is, not so much that said, but being that it is, but so yeah, that but so dake do.
でももし本当にお化けが出たらすぐに逃げちゃえば大丈夫や。だけどとにかく大丈夫よ。
とにかく大丈夫よ. So okay. Tonikaku is an expression that comes from a story, which is why I think it has something to do with, if you actually look up the kanji, it's like rabbits and horns or something like that. But it's essentially yeah, rabbits and horns, yeah. Tonikaku. But so here it's meaning like anyway, it'll be all right. You'll be safe. Things will be okay. And there's actually a huge explanation of Tonikaku that I think would be worth hearing. Explain the grammar of Tonikaku. That's the difference between Tomokaku and Tonikaku. Let's say Kare wa omoshiroi, or he's funny. Tonikaku. Okay, always focuses on the fact that he's funny and it emphasizes it. But Tomokaku never does this. Okay, let's see. Tonikaku, kare wa omoshiroi. No matter how he may have demerits, but I don't care. I want to say he's funny. So even if he was a criminal, I would still believe he's funny. Or Tomokaku. So basically, Tonikaku, ignoring everything else, then you state what you want to state after saying that you'd still think this is true, ignoring everything else. And then Tomokaku, let's see, Tomokaku, kare wa moshiroi. By the way, he's funny. Let's see. Tonikaku in at this and that, among other things, at any rate, is an adverb. Tomokaku is technically only part of wa Tomokaku, though this or that about. Okay, putting aside, it needs something else to say putting what aside in order to be a complete expression. But what is it when Tomokaku is used standalone? It would implicitly take what was said before to mean putting those things above aside by by that as it may. Okay, be that as it may. So when Tonikaku and Tomokaku appear at the beginning of a sentence, they may differ a little as at any rate, or be that as it may do. Okay, but Tomokaku cannot semantically modify a verb. Let's see. Even if it can be inserted in the middle of a sentence. Tonikaku, okane ga hitsuyou da. At any rate, we need money. Let's see, Tomokaku, putting X aside. Then Tonikaku, moving away from X. Okay. For the latter, the listener would assume the succeeding content is so important, something you want to bring up as a topic or emphasize, hence the rushed feeling or trivialization effect, as you pointed out. So Tomokaku sounds like you are taking what was previously said into account, but then going to something else, where Tonikaku sounds like you're just ignoring everything and going straight to the point. Let's see if Boonpro has anything about this. Boonpro Tonikaku. Okay, here's wa tomokaku. Wa tomokaku is an expression which makes use of the adverbial particle wa and has an adverb tomokaku, meaning to set aside or at any rate. This structure can be used when the speaker wants to change the topic from A to B, or mention B as something additional on top of A. So for changing a subject, or when you want to add B add a new subject on top of the existing subject. Ha tomokaku is primarily seen following nouns in their dictionary form. In many cases, this will be when A is something that the speaker thinks is not worth considering or not worth making an issue about, when B is more important. So, kono ryori no mita kono ryori no mita me wa tomokaku. Let's see. Aji wa totemo ii. Apart from the appearance of the dish, it is very delicious. So, ryori no mita. So, I guess it's sort of like looking at the food, or looking at the cooking entering the eye. So, aka appearance. Kono ryori no mita me wa tomokaku de aji wa totemo ii. So it's delicious. Yet, Yachan ga 高いか、let's see, 安いか、let's see, 家賃が高いか、安いかは、ともかく、東京駅、oh no, 東京駅、東京駅の近くに住みたい。Setting aside whether the rent is expensive or cheap, I want to live near Tokyo Station. So Yachan would be rent. Okay, so Yachan ga takai ka yasui ka wa tomokaku Tokyo eki no chikaku ni sumitai. Yeah, ka, in addition to being a question word, can also be more like saying or as well. So expensive or cheap or, yeah, kyuryo wa tomokaku yari ga ino aru shigoto ga shitai. Setting aside the pay, I want a worthwhile job. Kyoryo, okay, pay. So, no, kyuryo wa tomokaku yari ga ii no aru shigoto ga shitai. See, the adverb tomokaku is thought to have come from the Buddhist expression tokaku kimo. Tokaku kimo, things that do not exist. Horns on rabbits. Oh, that's right. Tony Kaku. So that's literally a rabbit. Okay, a horn with a rabbit, aka a horn on a rabbit. So things that do not exist. Let's see. Horns on rabbits, fur on turtles. So when you're setting something aside, you're essentially saying it doesn't exist, I guess. So in other words, tonikaku, like it doesn't exist. Setting that aside, well, basically, let's have this conversation as it doesn't it doesn't exist. Or in other words, setting it aside. Yeah, tomokaku would. Wait, no, this is from Tomokaku, not Tonikaku. Yeah, so Tomo, all rabbits horns. In other words, horns on rabbit, I guess. Okay. Is this turtle or something? Yeah, tortoise. And oh yeah, this is literally. I see. Rabbit horns, tortoise hair. Okay, yes. Let's see. So, I mean, horns on rabbits, fur on turtles, referring to things that do not exist. Although this particular meaning is not widely accepted as being strongly related to the modern meaning of tomokaku, some relations can be drawn between it and English phrases, such as it is neither here nor there. Well, yes, it's neither here nor there. In other words, it doesn't matter for what we're talking about, or aka setting it aside. In reference to something that is non-existent or of little importance. Let's see. Binji ga binji janai ka kawa tomokaku. Let's see. Yasashiku te ryori ga jozu na hito to kekkon o shitai. I want to marry someone who is kind and a good cook. Whether she is beautiful or not is neither here nor there. In other words, setting aside whether she's beautiful or not. Bijin. Beautiful woman. Okay, yeah, that's right. Oh, I see. Bijin. So Bijin and then using ka like an or. So beautiful or Bijin janai ka, or not beautiful, or yeah. This is how you list possibilities. Something ka, and then go to wa from there. So whether they're beautiful or not, setting that aside, and then yeah, yes, that's right. From yasashi, so this is the connected form yasashikute. So you want someone that's gentle, and then further describing it, Yori ka jozu. So a good cook, and then this na is loading it into the person. So you want someone you want a gentle person, and you want a good cook person, and then and you want all that with yeah, let's see this. So, and then with this type of person you described, so all this is just for describing the person. With that person, you want to marry them. Okay, cone marriage, and then shitai to want to do. Okay. So setting aside, I never thought about the fact that tomokaku actually means very closely to the English expression that neither here nor there. Now let's try if I could find tonikaku. Let's see. So if I can find anything from Boon Pro and Tonikaku, it tends to explain a lot of grammar. I see some examples, but no real explanation on it. Let's see. Explain the grammar behind Tonikaku. So the other one looked like it came from that story. It's saying like all rabbits having a horn, or in other words, things that don't exist. But Tonikaku looks like it's saying a horn with a rabbit. Let's see. Which is that actually considered? Tonikaku is considered a adverb. Okay. Conjunctive adverb, or an adverb that modifies the entire sentence or clause rather than a specific verb. Its grammatical origin is an abbreviation of the classical phrase tonimo. Oh, so there is a mo in this one. It's just got cut out of the phrase. Let's see. Tonimo. Tonimo kaku nimo. With all rabbits, with all horns. Okay, which literally translates to whether it's. Oh, actually, this is the question, Mo. So whether it's a rabbit or a horn, referring to this and that, or this way or that way. In modern Japanese, it has lost its literal meaning. It serves as a discourse marker. Here, tonikaku acts similar to the English anyway, or in any case. It is used to set aside previous topics, arguments, or details to return to the main point or to make a decision without further justification. It signals to the speaker. It signals that the speaker is dismissing other considerations. Hajime yo. Anyway, so tonikaku hajime yo. Anyway, let's get started. Adverbial intensifying use. In this context, it modifies an adjective or a verb to mean very. So at all cost, before anything else. Yeah, because if you're setting something aside, then at all cost, or it's something that's very important, then, or before anything else. Yeah. It emphasizes that the quality is most important factor, or that the action is urgent. Kono neko, tonikaku, kawaii ne. The cat is so cute. Oh, cute more than anything else, okay? So it's like above all else, the cat's cute. Key distinction. Toriaizu, grammatically, toriaizu implies tentativeness or temporary measure for now. Often due to time constraints, whereas tonikaku implies resolution or emphasis of in any case. So toriaizu, biru de. Okay, I'll have a beer for now. While tonikaku biru de, I'll have a beer anyway, regardless of any other options. Okay, so they're saying it comes from tonika or tonika or kaku ni tonimo tonimo kakunimo. In other words, whether it's a rabbit or a horn, which basically means no matter what, do something, or no matter what, it is something. What are the parts that make up Tori Aizu? So Tomokaku is setting something aside. So you are still considering it, but you're just saying it may not be as important. Let's go with this. But Tonikaku means you're not even considering it. You're just throwing everything out and just saying this. And then Toriaizu was the for now, which comes from the toru. Let's see, take, or toru mono, things to take, items to grab. So toriaizu, a classical form meaning without a moment's delay or immediately. The literal meaning of the original item is grabbing whatever is available without a moment's delay. So for now, or for the time being. So where does the aizu come from? It's derived from the Mizenke imperfective form of the verb afu, meaning to dare, to bear, to endure, combined with the classical negative auxiliary zu. So ahezu literally means cannot endure, cannot bear. And toriaizu. See, torimono mo toriai. So it comes from the phrase torimono mo toriaizu. So torimono, things to take, mo, and then toriaizu meant without a moment's delay or leaving everything else unattended, implying one must take what they can immediately because they cannot bear to wait or endure. So the toriaizu is like take, don't endure, since that afu is just being conjugated into the negative, so endure is being conjugated to not endure. So take, not endure. In other words, take a particular something now, or do a particular something now just for the time being. Don't endure like inaction any longer. So toriaizu, so hence why it has the for now meaning. So tonikaku daijoubu yo. So ignoring everything that was just said, you'll be safe, you'll be alright.
逃げちゃえば大丈夫や。だけど、とにかく大丈夫よ。逃げちゃえば大丈夫や。だけど、とにかく大丈夫。
Okay, so 質問がありますか? Are there any questions? 質問がありますか? Are there any questions? I'm not sure if I had myself muted for that. Let's see who to raid. There's no questions. We're just going to start the raids. Okay, we're going to raid Kanade. That's the first raid. The second raid is going to be... Okay, so Ginron83 is studying Japanese, so we're going to raid him. Let's see, the last raid we're going to go to... Okay, we're gonna raid a Chili Dojo for the third raid. He's playing one of the Street Fighter games. Minasan, o kiotsukete. Mata ashita. Goodbye, everyone. See you tomorrow.